ticket? Are y'all gonna buy a ticket? Are y'all gonna buy a ticket?
Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Not come on in. Not come. Sorry, y'all. Y'all know I'm weird. Whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. So let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video, right?
I'm back. Hi. What's going on, everybody? It's like candy. I could win you. Even when you talk, it take over me. And I wanna know, can you feel it too? Just like I do. Ooh. Get this started now. It's the same feeling I always seem to get around you. Yes, I do. Simply put, you're the reason why. Even though I'm real shy. Hey, y'all. What's up? I intend to look my best for you. Okay, so like, can y'all send money to my Cash App, please? I'll be begging for the next couple of days for this trip. You know, girl, you gotta have $600 in your account to go to Thailand now. They got new rules because they trying to keep you niggas out. And not you niggas, but like you Americans. You Americans. They trying to keep y'all broke asses out their country because y'all was going over there on a travel visa and then never leaving and shit. And they like, no, you gotta go home. And I'm like, I don't want to be one of those people. So y'all be support. Also, like, we trying to figure out, are we still going to Mauritius? Because we don't know. We don't know because the people may not be signing up. We don't know if we should take it down, if we should wait a little while longer and see if everything kind of, chills the fuck out. I don't know. And then also the question is, should we go to Vietnam? Because now Vietnam is somewhere that everybody wants to go because America started to act like assholes and shit. So Thailand has tightened its restrictions on coming into their country all willy-nilly and shit. You used to be able to just float in and out, but now it's like, hold up. Are you American? So they're worried. So Vietnam has become like the new spot to go to when you trying to go see what's popping in South Asia when it comes to like, medicine and all of that. People are going out there for tourism, for health tourism, whatever the fuck you want to call it, where they go out there and go to their doctors and their hospitals because they have like free public health care. And if you go in their country, it's not going to cost you as much and stuff like that. Girl, yeah, America be out there. Girl, America be making everybody think life's supposed to be just hard. Like just so hard. I heard a lady that moved to Germany was on TikTok crying because she was like, she didn't realize how hard her life was in America until she got to Germany and saw how easy some things were. Like all you have to work is 20 hours a week as a fucking barista and you get 36 days vacation. And you get to apply to their free public health care. It's not free. It's she said she paid like $100 a month if you want, buy into the health care. And you get basically free, almost free doctor's appointments and whatever it is that you need. I was just like, child, that y'all gonna keep thinking that, you would want to get stuck in here instead of getting stuck somewhere else. Girl, I know it's home and everything. Don't get me wrong, y'all. It is home. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home. I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. When that makes the tall grass bend into leaning. Sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm just saying. I just feel like you should care about everywhere. You should care about everywhere because some places actually will be nicer to you. than your own country. Feels like you be being in an abusive relationship with your own country. Okay. Oh, hey, Ty's in the comments. Okay. Ty just got back from Vietnam and it was amazing. A lot of world travelers love Vietnam. Girl, yeah, I feel, and I've always wanted to visit Vietnam because New Orleans has such a large Vietnamese population. And then when I have seen like movies and stuff about Vietnam, I see like the tropical kind of same type of lush, swampy, crawfish type, shrimper vibe that they got going on. And I'm like, I probably would like it though, considering the fact that they like it here. You know what I'm saying? Vietnamese people like it in New Orleans. And I feel like if they like it here, then me as a black New Orleans person, I might also like Vietnam. You know what I'm saying? We might be similar types of people. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all, let us know what y'all think. A lot of people like if you look on TikTok, I would suggest looking at TikTok. But so many people are in Vietnam. A lot of black people have started to go to Vietnam. Actually, one of my favorite old school online personalities, I don't know if y'all know Montana De Leon, but Montana De Leon used to have a YouTube channel back in the day. And that's somebody that is always, looking for, you know, other queer women that speak to my spirit. Montana De Leon was like one of the first people on YouTube talking about like I'm married and I'm bisexual and all of the things. Okay, so like she was one of the first people I actually saw talking about her life in an honest way that was living her life like that. And that lady had like 5 kids, girl. And she always looked amazing, you know what I'm saying? So, she had the body, yada, yada, and everything. So, yeah, like I used to love me some Montana De Leon. And now she is on TikTok and she's in Vietnam right now. And that's where she's living. And she looks amazing still. She looks the same. She might have started letting her gray hair grow in a little bit, but if you was just looking at her face and body, you wouldn't even be able to tell. Yeah. And I saw another like a black couple that's out there. I follow what is it, Center Women and Girls on TikTok. Another one of my mutuals. She's out there right now. I'm praying for her. She went out there. She had to get a surgery, and she had to get a surgery, and I think she got an infection, and so now she's back at the hospital, and she was just online crying about, it's just really hard what she's going through right now, and she's by herself. And a lot of the checking in and stuff that she does online is kind of like to let people know what's going on with her because she, doesn't have anybody really out there with her from what I've seen. So, I think it's important for people to like start building community over there because a lot of us are moving over there. Okay, you remember Montana De Leon? Yes, lots of West Africans in Vietnam. I met retired people from the U.S. who spend half of the year in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. See, yeah, I love all of that. See, I love all of that because once you like live out there and realize how they do not have the same toxic ass work environment that we do, living places that don't think about money first all the time or overworking people for the sake of money. That's another thing. Like America is extremely exploitive in a way that is unnatural to most other countries. And y'all can thank racism for that. Them trying to keep us from having a good life is why we don't have a good life. None of us do. It's because they just want us to not have it. They didn't have this problem in other countries. In other countries, everybody, in generally is the same, or their minorities are such a small number. It doesn't make sense for them to work that hard for everybody not to have health care just to keep the few black people that live there from having it. Yeah, some people aren't that petty. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with America, but it's just like the pettiest place in America, girl. I mean, the pettiest place in the world. It is a country that will cut his own nose off to spite his face. Sad. Well, y'all, let's go ahead and get into the Married to Medicine, okay? I've done my workout. I did my BondyBlue show. I had some food in me. I got my little last glass of wine, okay? I got my little bit left of a jerk. I'm ready. Y'all ready? Let's go. I really hate when me and other content creators I really like don't agree on things. I really do. I hate that feeling. That's why doing Chris's show today was so nice. Y'all saw me on Chris on C Diggs. Y'all know him and Alex have their podcast together, and they be at the BravoCon and everything. So yeah, we had a live together on his channel today. It was really. I shared the link on my homepage if y'all didn't see it. It's on the page. It's on the community post. But it was so lovely. Like, not that you always want people to agree with everything you say, but it's nice to talk to somebody where it's like y'all get it and it doesn't feel like, how do you come here with that? Right? Like one of my faves in the Discord was talking about this Steve situation, this Steve and Eugene situation, and like, I love y'all. It ain't gonna make me love y'all no less that we got into it about this specific situation. This ain't that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I told y'all the Trump shit. You know what I mean? That's the type of shit that I'm willing to part ways with you about. But this shit, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. But I'm still confused and disappointed because I just don't know how we don't see that Steve and his Tyler Perry mouth was doing the absolute most. And why was it okay for him to be misogynist talking to Eugene? Why was it okay for him to say Eugene was acting like a woman and call him Eugene Bush? Why was that okay? Why is it that everybody understood Damon not wanting to defend his ignorant ass wife? I love you, Heavenly. But you know you ignorant, bitch. Why is it okay for him to say, I didn't say it, and you defend him? You defend Damon's right to not have to argue with anybody on behalf of his wife, but you going at Eugene, wanting him to argue on behalf of his wife. And then when Mimi turned to Toya and said, you are insecure. I don't know what it is about us that makes you feel insecure about yourself. When Steve was saying that, yeah, because you're a little man, because you're not in shape. Like, I felt like that's what he was basically saying to Eugene. Because you're a short, fat man, you're intimidated and insecure around me, the tall football player. And, you know, one of my girls, you know what I'm saying? I love you, girl. But she was like, how was Steve trying to get special treatment? Because he was trying to come into that event without paying for anything. What part of that event wasn't free to anybody? Doesn't anybody understand? The event was not free to anybody. The event wasn't free to anybody. The event wasn't free to anybody. Why is this hard for everybody to understand? Yes, Toya was being petty. What else is going on? This whole Met Gala situation is really not that serious. $300 is not that serious. If you felt that embarrassed, maybe that's an internal issue you have, Steve, because it just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like that was some low-key bitch shit. And as the nigga I feel I am in my spirit, and, the nigga I am is not as easily bothered because I feel like it's actually bitch shit for a nigga to be this upset about $300. Now, do I feel like it was true that Eugene wants Damon to hold Heavenly accountable to some degree, but doesn't want to hold Toya accountable? Yes, I can agree with that. I can agree that he wants Damon to say something or do something about Heavenly. But I feel like everybody keeps forgetting the fact that they all disrespected Eugene. Eugenia and all of that shit. Talking about his dick. Eugene didn't do anything to y'all. Let's be clear. Eugene did not do anything to Heavenly. Eugene did not do anything to Mimi. So Steve's energy towards Eugene to me seemed extremely out of place. I'm sorry. It felt like, why are you this upset? Why are you this upset about $300? And you keep saying it's not about that. It's about you being ambushed. But one lady is not an ambush. One lady is not an ambush, Steve. And if you don't talk to women and you're not going to talk to Toya about it, who's actually in charge of the situation, then why don't you let Mimi argue on her own behalf, Steve? Why don't you stay out of it? Why don't you stay out of it, Steve? Why didn't you just drop the 300, drop your balls on the table and keep it pushing? Why are we still talking about this? Why are you this upset? Like to me, the amount of anger he had towards Eugene seemed uncalled for and low key like, wait, what? Why are you acting like this man fucked your wife? Like, what is going on? Yeah, when he said it was a narrative spin when Eugene was asked about the fight with Toya, and then they proceed to act like Eugene and Toya were blaming Mimi for the fight she was having with her husband. No, she wasn't blaming you for the fight she was having with her husband. She felt like y'all made it worse and fuck y'all. That's how she felt. And honestly, I don't know I don't know how I feel, because to me, when Mimi decided to say out of her mouth to lean into your femininity, that pissed me off. That pissed me off. I'm sorry, y'all. Couples argue. Couples argue. And I think everybody thinks it's okay when men talk to women in a bad way. But if a woman talks to a man in the same way he's talking to her, or if she's a little louder or a little bit more boisterous than him, even if they're both going back and forth cursing each other out, y'all are going to make a victim out of the man. That's what I feel like y'all are doing right now. Y'all are making a fucking victim out of Eugene. And it's not that. And also, I would like to say that I need for, and I'm holding your hand with a napkin, I need for some of y'all to take inventory. Because the mentality that I don't have to respect a man whose wife doesn't respect him. So how is he going to make his wife respect him? Do you want him to hit her? Do you want him to curse her out and call her a raggedy bitch? Do you want him to give her the cold shoulder? Do you want him to divorce her? What would you like for Eugene to do to his wife in order to make you feel like he's deserving of respect? Because I want everybody to know what they like. I want y'all to tell me for real. Like, let's talk about it in real life terms. Y'all want Eugene to be abusive towards Toya to satiate how much y'all can't stand her. And that's odd. That's really, really odd, especially Curtis. And the fact that Curtis is piggybacking on this situation with Steve, and Steve is such a fucking slut. He wants them niggas validation so bad, all them goofy ass jokes and smiling and laughing. He was so happy to be joked out laughing as Eugene walked out of that room on his own. And guess what, Eugene? I hope somebody send this to him. Don't feel bad. You handled yourself excellently. You handled yourself perfectly. You said what you wanted to say. You said what you needed to say. I'm not about to keep arguing with you, and you aren't going to keep trying to scream and holler at me about this ticket shit. You just not. I'm not going to engage. And I'm damn sure not about to get in no pissing match with no grown-ass man on national television like I'm not a motherfucking doctor. Nigga, you may be a little football player throwing around balls and shit, so you don't have anything to lose going back to your house doing nothing. But Eugene does not need to get out of character with you on national television. Y'all want to disrespect Eugene because Eugene is not a misogynist. That's what it's about to me. Everybody wants to be silent and let Eugene get bagged on because y'all want him to pay for Toya. And the only way that he would make y'all feel better about the situation is if he was a misogynist. If he was a man that had lied, cheated, who's getting more money out of their wife than the wife is getting out of them. If he was the type of man that wasn't communicating with his wife about very serious events in their life. If he was the type of man that did any of that other snaky ass shit, y'all would have more respect for him. But because he doesn't disrespect his wife for your benefit, now you're telling us you can't respect him. No, you're just a disrespectful person. That's why I said some of y'all need to take inventory, because way too many grown-ass women said to me that, no, really, you can't respect a man that's not respected by his wife. Girl, what the fuck are you talking about? No, seriously, what are you talking about? What does that mean? Well, I'm not saying I would disrespect the person, but I just would not respect them. Okay, so if you don't respect somebody, what does that mean? Does that mean you're going to feel the need to disrespect them? Yeah, see, y'all think respect and fear are the same thing, and they are not. The patriarchy makes you feel that way, but respect and fear are not the same thing. Respect is earned. Fear just means somebody hit you, harmed you, screamed at you too many times, or dysregulated your nervous system. That's not hard to do. Steve and Mimi, I think they're very interesting. I want them to come back to the show. I think they have a great storyline. I think that Steve is the perfect type of husband for a housewife show. He wants to be seen, and he likes to argue. He's perfect. Because to me, y'all can say what y'all want to, but Mimi was giving more masculine energy than her husband was, as he was sitting up there trying to create an argument with Eugene out of thin air. Talking about he turned Eugene every way but loose. What? By saying it was a narrative shift for Eugene to say him and his wife got into a fight and in couples fight? How is that a narrative shift, bitch? That's what happened. That's what happened. It was a married couple getting into an argument in front of everybody, and y'all would respect it better if they did not argue like that on screen and in front of people, and they just waited until they did it in private. I understand that. I get it. I feel the same way. I don't like arguing in front of people either. But at the same time, I'm also not on a reality show. This is a reality show, and y'all were in their house. Like, if you don't feel comfortable to argue in your fucking house and tell people they need to mind their fucking business, then where can you feel that way? And I'm sorry, as much as I think that Toya is a complete and utter fucking asshole, I really genuinely feel like y'all be gassing the disrespect that y'all feel she throws his way. Yes, she is disrespectful at times, but people in general are disrespectful to each other in relationships over time. And to act like none of them other couples have disrespected each other is insane. To act like a simple verbal disagreement is worse than lying to your wife about your son going to jail, then cheating on your wife and having a bitch down to the airport, and consistently putting your hands on other women on the cast on camera. To act like any of what y'all got going on in y'all relationships is so much better than Eugene and Toya, I think it's cap. And Steve, I really do feel like your thing is that you didn't like the fact that it made you look broke. Bitch, you broke? That's a question. Are you broke? Because as somebody that, loves to give, excuse my language, but, big pussy energy, like when I got it, I got it. What do you mean? I don't waste my time arguing about money that I got. The way I pay for shit, nah, pay for that shit, man, whatever. Yeah, charge it. All that. And it's just because at some level, like, girl, what is going on? If you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't. The only reason you would be that upset is if you didn't really have the $300, Steve. I don't know. But I'm just saying, y'all, it was way too much energy. Like, even if y'all just wanted to have a conversation, but you talked about it twice the day that it happened. Eugene apologized to them the day that it happened. He apologized then. He acknowledged it. He even acknowledged why Curtis was mad at his wife. What do y'all want Eugene to do besides acknowledge that y'all are mad at his wife and y'all have a reason to be? Like, what else do y'all want? Unless y'all want him to be abusive to her in front of y'all in some type of way. You want him to be unnecessarily mean to her? Because that's the only way that would work, right? The only way you would actually hurt Toya's feelings if you caught her off guard and said something mean to her when that wasn't even the energy. And then y'all would still just go back and forth because Toya is not the type of woman that you're going to be able to say any old thing to, and she not going to say something back. So that's just going to be another fucking argument. So that's not going to work. What else would you like for Eugene to do? Because he can't control her mouth just like Damon can't control Heavenly's mouth. I'm confusion. Let's get into my notes, girl. We've been here talking long enough, okay? It's 300 of y'all in here. Like the video, hype it up, do the things, right? Okay. And don't forget about my merch. The community is not okay. Get ready for our spring line coming up soon. I have a puzzle and a coloring book, okay? So let's get into it. Yeah, that's weird that they say that he deserves a better wife. Like, that's because y'all don't like when women are mean. But the only way that you have a good husband is when you're a mean wife. Like, I don't, like, to some degree, like, everybody else should think you're mean. Like, in private, you're, you're butter and glazing shit. Okay? But it's just crazy the way we sitting up here acting like Toya, you know, like telling somebody to put a biscuit in their mouth is the worst shit you could ever told a nigga or something like that. Girl, calm down. But he did stand up for himself. Like, I feel like he did stand up for himself. I don't understand where y'all think that Eugene has not stood up for himself. Like, I don't understand what I don't know what standing up for yourself means. I guess y'all want him to scream at her or something, because he absolutely argues back with her. They were arguing with each other. Also, another thing that people, I guess, are failing to understand is that another way to argue is to ignore the fuck out of people, especially somebody that needs you to respond to them. Like, passive aggression is also a way to argue, y'all. And I feel like Eugene has checked Toya in front of people. Eugene has said that Toya was wrong about things. He said she was wrong about the Angel situation. Eugene don't give a fuck when it comes to this Met Gala shit. As soon as he heard that y'all was trying to sabotage her. As soon as he heard y'all was trying to sabotage that lady, he stopped giving a fuck about how she handled y'all. And he's explained that very clearly. Yeah, they want him to cuss. Yeah, and why? You cuss her out. She said it to you. You cuss her out. But y'all forget he did curse her out when they were arguing at the house, because she said, "Don't fucking curse at me, Eugene, because you don't like when I curse at you." Did y'all miss it? They were arguing. Arguments take two people. It's like nobody's paying attention to what Eugene is doing, and they just acting like he's not doing anything. But they talk, they argue. And also, when somebody gives you the silent treatment, when Toya kept asking him to help her and she was ignoring him, he was ignoring her. Ignoring somebody is a way to agitate them. It's a way to argue. It's a way to start an issue with them. Everything is not verbal. Everything that you do is not going to be verbal in a relationship. Sometimes you're going to do shit like purposefully ignore a motherfucker when they talking to you. Sometimes you're going to make a face and ignore them. But Eugene is not a pushover. I don't think that's what's happening at all. I don't even feel like he's henpecked. And I know what a henpecked man look like. That is not a henpecked man. That's just a man that, like his wife, understands who she is and is cool with that shit. But he curses her out back. He talks back. He says to people, he says, she not right. Toya, you tripping. You need to calm down. It's happened several times. And to me, Eugene has done it more than any of these other people. Girl, I don't know. I don't know. I'll be wrong in this situation. I'll stand on the island by myself about this one too. But when I look at the show, I feel like Eugene is often the most vocal husband. And I also feel like they're punishing him because he's vocal. They're punishing him because he's not a misogynist. And I just feel like all of these niggas are far more disrespectful than Toya is to Eugene. And nobody gets to be all upset about that, right? Because Jackie's gonna lie for Curtis. I was trying um okay. I forgot. I didn't know. Okay. So I keep talking and I ain't gotten to these notes yet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. Simone says that she can't move forward with Jackie if she doesn't take a stance on right and wrong. Simone wants Jackie to tell her if she pushed her, like Heavenly alleged. And Jackie said, "You did not push her." Heavenly says, because I think Andy was like, "Yeah, that's all she needed to hear." And Heavenly was like, "That's not all she needed to hear. She gonna keep going after that." And it's like, Heavenly, just like give it a rest. Like let them have it. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. They're acting out some childhood trauma shit. Like Heavenly and Elaine and Jackie's relationship is very mother-daughter. And it's reminiscent of Elaine's relationship with her mother and her sister, because Elaine does not have a good relationship with her sister. She was closer to her mother, and I believe her sister was kind of made to be the fast one, right? The one that was out in the world and, pretty and allowed to do what she wanted to do, while Heavenly was locked in the house with the mama. And so now I feel like Heavenly is kind of doing a version of that with Jackie and Simone, because Simone doesn't care about appearances as much as Jackie and Elaine do. Even though, I'm gonna keep calling her Elaine because it's hilarious. Elaine doesn't care about appearances when it comes to how she talks to people, right? She don't care about cursing you out. She don't care about being reactionary, right? And going off and all of that. But when it comes to everything else, she'll hide everything else. She'll hide everything, especially concerning a man. If it's concerning a man, she will hide it like it's a fucking state secret. Do you hear me? But if it's putting a woman on blast for anything she going through, if it got something to do with a woman, she'll put you on blast. And I was glad at some point when people like pointed out to Damon, and we'll get to that, about like how Heavenly takes everything that they say to her personally. And Chris made me realize this today. Chris said, because I felt like I understood where Heavenly was coming from when she got mad with Simone, even though I feel like she took it to hell. Like, you didn't have to say that lady pushed you and all of that. Like, you didn't have to make it like that. You could have just been like, "Damn, bitch, you really gonna move my arm from around you like that? You don't want me to touch you? That's hurtful, bitch." Like, you could have just said that shit. But instead, you tried to make it seem like she tried to hurt you, which was some bullshit and some cap. And if Jackie was a better person, she wouldn't be lying about it in order to protect your feelings. And she wouldn't be lying about what Curtis did in order to protect his feelings and her image. She would just tell the truth. But that's not the type of person she is. And I feel like, I don't think Simone is like that. I don't think Simone is like that. I think that's why Simone and Toya kind of get along, because they both do have a kind of goofy, I don't give a fuck about them sometimes. Like, everybody cares about appearances to an extent, y'all. Okay? But the way Jackie and Elaine care about appearances and hiding shit to protect men, but exploiting women's weaknesses when it's necessary. Yeah, they got that special shit in common, if you ask me. And I think another thing is that, Simone, I feel like on some level may have always wanted to have Jackie just be her friend and not have, Elaine as a part of their friendship. Simone is reactionary. She is reactionary. And I feel like to some extent, Jackie was having that same type of relationship with Simone. Like Simone has a very much like daughter relationship with Jackie, even though they're closer in age and they're more friends. Than it seems, more on the same level than her and Heavenly. I still feel like Simone was somebody that Jackie felt like she had to calm down and all of that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same thing. Like Simone is reactionary. Simone does like, pop out of pocket and was acting a fool and all of that, y'all. Y'all know I feel like Simone be acting a fool. Okay? But at the same time, there's an honesty in it. There's an honesty in it. Whereas I think with Heavenly, sometimes I feel like with Heavenly, it's bullshit and Jackie knows it's bullshit. Simone gets upset about shit she's actually upset about. Heavenly will sometimes make an issue for attention, if that makes sense. But it does give like Jackie being this mother figure to both of them in some respect, even in the friendship. Yeah, no, I don't think she can though. I don't think Heavenly can be on this show and keep her business to herself. And I don't think it's fair that it happened in that way. I don't think it's fair that you come on this show, pretend to be friends with people, get information from them, and then exploit it on the show like a fucking producer while keeping your life private. That is fucked up. Especially because Heavenly thinks that she's better than Simone or anybody else that showed their more personal lives on the show. She feels like she's better than them. When really, I think it takes a lot more guts to be honest, other than lying so that you could, save face when everybody can tell something ain't right. Everybody could tell you full of shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, not secret as much as calculated. She's secretive. She's secretive, especially about her marriage is what I'm talking about. Even though they're grown, if your bestie has a new friend and you're feeling pushed out, of course you're gonna feel a type of way. Yes. But I also feel like at some point that's not what was happening. It really was like the three of them. But I think the problem comes in when Jackie becomes this like weird ass, I can't tell the truth out of protecting people's feelings things. And I almost feel like it's a manipulation. I don't know why, but y'all know how, like, we just now started to see how Mama Joe from Soul Food was the actual villain and was really like manipulative and kind of instigating situations while pretending to be like the good matriarch, but kind of kept the shit going a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Jackie is like that. They can act like they're not keeping the shit going, but they're kind of keeping the shit going. Because it really could have, child, Elaine ain't going nowhere if you tell her that that lady didn't push you, stop acting like that. Elaine ain't going nowhere. She needs you as a mother figure. Yeah, she told Simone, I don't put my business out there like you do. And it was fucked up because her and Simone were both having a conversation and being vulnerable with each other, crying about how they were both going through it in their families. And she turned around and threw that shit out there in order to, trash Simone. And it's like, girl, we're talking about your son too. Just because you're not giving the details about it don't mean we don't know that nigga went to jail and your husband lied to you about it for a year and some change, 2 years, however long it was. And y'all both up there on stage being avoidant as fuck with this cognitive dissonance shit that y'all like to do. And that's not healthy. And it's weird because you don't have to be on a reality show. You're a dentist and you own homes. You do not have to be on a reality show. I don't understand the point of coming on a reality show so that you can hide your personal life and feel like you're better because you're not showing your personal life while being paid to do it. That's that Yandy shit. And that's aggravating to me because there are other things you can do. Like, come on. Jackie said She did not push her. Heavenly says that she not done. She wants an apology. And she wants an apology for the way Simone was screaming at her. Jackie asked if she can hug her, and Simone said, "You ain't never have to ask for permission to touch me before." Right. But Bondi, you just want everybody to be gay. Like I give a fuck. Like I give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I wish y'all could be straight and not be worried about what gay people got going on. But y'all, a lot of y'all can't seem to do it. So when some of y'all, when the straights do gay shit, I'm gonna point it out. Cause that's what y'all like to do. Y'all like to do gay shit and be homophobic. And then when somebody say, "How dare you, bitch," you won't get all offended and all of that. Something ain't right though, because why your son or husband feel like they can't come to her, that's the issue. Exactly. Exactly. And you know why? Because she loses her shit. Because she's reactionary. I'm sure. There's a level of growth that I, and I'm not saying, because everybody's different, y'all. Everybody got their personalities, but to me, this is somewhat of a growth thing. Like you could be a 50, almost 60 something year old woman and still have the internal regulation of a 20-year-old. You can. And that's what I feel like really be happening a lot of time with most of the women. And also, like I said, I feel like everybody's hormonal because they're on menopause. They're going through menopause. I feel like almost all of these hoes is going through menopause, except for like Quad and Mimi, right? Of course, not the youngins, Brandy and Angel, but the older ladies, Simone, Jackie, Toya, Heavenly, Contessa. Yeah, that's some menopause. That's some menopause shit. I think a lot of the even the way they was all flipping out at Angel's party, now that I'm thinking back, wasn't Quiet doing IVF and she flipped out? Simone, Heavenly, like these people are on Toya, these people are going through menopause. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of feel like there's a lot at play. Yeah, that's what that's what Toya was talking about when she says that my husband doesn't trust me with our son. Yeah, she said that shit, and she was talking about Heavenly. And again, just back again to why Jackie and Simone don't just run away and be together, girl. Just run away and be together, girl. It's okay. They gonna wait until they 70 years old to be living in a condo together. And left them niggas that probably have died by then. Okay, they died. They didn't wait for them to die. Then they gonna be together in a nice 2-bedroom condo. Mm-hmm. Okay. Listen. Anyway, Contessa calls Heavenly a black Karen and says she's always calling for security after starting shit. Contessa, I know you think you're fooling everybody by smiling through every interaction, but you're creeping me the fuck out. I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but Contessa does a lot of like smiling while not actually being happy. Oh my God. And I think a lot of times, that's how black women end up having mental issues when they get older. And it's because y'all can't integrate y'all personalities truthfully for whatever fucking reason. But when you're not integrating your personalities and you keep trying to live your life in parts, when you get old, you can't, you be malfunctioning and shit. Because Contessa be up there malfunctioning. Like, bitch, oh my God. I don't know why you look so stiff and so, I don't know, but when I look at her, I feel like I have when I look at her, sometimes it feels like rock in the throat. Rock in the throat. Like, you know how when you want to cry, but you hold it back? No, she's not a sociopath. She feels it. She's acting like she doesn't, but she's not a sociopath. She feels it. She's acting like she doesn't feel it. I think that she's really unhappy and feels trapped. That's why I said it's in the throat. It's in the throat because it feels like not saying how I really feel, not being who I want to really be. Not even if that's That might not even really be gay like I think it is. It might just be being single and living in your own fucking apartment and not always having somebody looking to you all the time. Mommy, 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 wife, wife, wife. A lot of women sometimes really just find, peace in just being by themselves after all of that, being something to somebody all the time. Sometimes it's nice just to not have nobody else asking you for shit, looking at you for shit, asking you no questions. Like, it's just nice not to have nobody talking to you sometimes. Like, after, being a wife and a mother, I feel like. So to me, I think that Contessa, yeah, I think she's very unhappy. And I think the way she's trying to cover it up is obvious. And it's hard to look at. To be honest, I hate it for her because she's a beautiful woman, but she's so unhappy. Oh my God. And it shows all over the place. And I low-key hate it for Scott because I feel like it can't be fun to be with somebody that's not happy with you. But niggas don't be caring. Niggas be like, child, please. She could be as miserable as she want to be. I'm good. Doo-doo-doo. Curtis wants to hold Eugene accountable for what Toya said about women coming to her about Curtis touching them. That is not what Toya said. Toya said he has touched a couple of the waist on our show, me being one of them. Curtis asked, why did Eugene agree if he didn't know? Because Eugene says, I don't know what she said on Watch What Happens Live. Like, you trying to hold me accountable for what she said on Watch What Happens Live. I don't know what she said. Well, you agreed to it. What are you talking about? You did touch her. You did touch her. You did touch Heavenly. And we just saw you with your hand holding fucking quad when you was talking to her and Kirk. You touch people and you're a cheater. What the fuck are you talking about, Curtis? And I don't understand why nobody rolled the tapes back from the Watch What Happens Live episode to correct him. I hate when y'all do that. Why didn't y'all correct him? Because that was not what she said. When they played it back for us, that is not what she said. She didn't say women were contacting her. She said he has been known to have touched multiple women on our show, me being one of them. Come on. He need to keep his hands to himself. Why she couldn't say that? You touched her. And the one thing I do wish that Eugene would have vocalized to Curtis is that you really should be lucky that I wasn't even more mad at that. I feel like he tried to get it out at some point and, Curtis kept trying to overtalk him. But it's like they kept trying to get him to be accountable for shit. And it's like, you want him to be accountable with some shit that she didn't even say? Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Like, get the fuck out of here with this shit. Curtis says that Toya lied, but then says that he did touch his wife. Eugene is like, fine, thank you. Thank you. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? And then Steve starts laughing, says because he's Eugene. When Eugene said, I've been here for 12 years, now I understand why he said that. Because when Steve said, because that's Eugene, it's like, nigga, you don't even know me. You don't even know me talking about that's Eugene. You had one fucking interaction with me, and now you think you know me enough to be like, because that's Eugene. Y'all are tripping out if y'all can't see, like, what the fuck was that? This is about the Curtis situation. And then backstage, Toya was telling Jackie that that's your fault because you told him that he didn't do it, giving him the lie to tell. Because as long as you're going to believe the lie, then he can act like, he can keep the lie alive as long as you believe the lie. He was yelling at the TV. So when I tell y'all, I don't understand what the fuck going on. My God, on today. That shit worked on my nerves. It worked on my nerves so bad. Like, listen, Tyler Perry face. Please shut all the way the fuck up. Andy says it's not the best look to say that you felt physically threatened by Simone. And they say, you was gonna beat her and then say you was sorry. My notes was fucked up. So Andy was talking about how Heavenly in 1 minute is saying Simone physically threatened her and then turn around and said she was gonna beat her ass. Heavenly says, Andy, what's your name? Like, and he says, what's your name? What's your name? It's like, oh my God, he is such a white boy. Calm down. Okay. Simone says that she don't got your name, but she got your vote. And I think that that's a lot of what's going on right now. It's just like, girl, no, get the fuck. The ladies talk about how they have to compete with TikTok as doctors because TikTok is always telling them something about a certain medicine, telling people about a certain medicine and things to do to the baby so that they, they don't want to do certain things to the baby at the hospital. Don't let them give your baby this and don't let them give your baby that. And I'm like, listen, I understand that you can't trust these doctors. Like, I get it. But I also feel like you can't trust just any nigga on the internet neither. And every nigga that's trying to tell y'all about some herbs is not a fucking herbalist and don't really know what the fuck they doing. Simone says a patient refused to deliver because she didn't want the baby to be a certain zodiac sign and her blood pressure elevated. She was 38 weeks pregnant. When I tell you, I feel like I'm going to hope that was some hormonal thing, but the truth of the matter is I feel like when you do shit like that, you shouldn't be a parent. Cuz you could have killed yourself and that baby just so the baby wouldn't be a certain zodiac sign. Do you know how ridiculous that is? Like, fuck the zodiac sign. The baby got a fucked up mama. Like, fuck what the baby zodiac sign is. It's going to have you who was willing to almost die in childbirth so the baby would not have a certain refusing to deliver, holding the baby in, and your blood pressure spiking. Girl, I'm telling you right now, this is one of them reasons why I couldn't be working with the regular people, girl. I can't be in the service industry. I don't have the temperament to deal with motherfuckers that really just need to be cursed the fuck out. Simone, thank you for your service. Because I'm still mad at y'all for trying to force women during labor to have C-sections by putting them on video cam with fucking judges in the middle of labor. They've been doing that lately in order to ignore a woman's rights and force her to have a C-section. And a lot of the times we know that the C-sections are not really needed, but they want to cut the woman so that they can hurry up and get her out of that bed. Because sometimes childbirth takes longer, especially when you have her laying on her fucking back, defying gravity, instead of having her, down low on all fours, squatted, so that gravity could help her push the baby out. Bitch, I ain't never had no baby and I'm not a doula and I know that. Fucking hospitals don't never like to learn nothing from nobody. That's dumb. Having people lay down. Oh my God, I'm sorry. But you lay the lady on her fucking back and get mad when it's taking her too long to have the baby. And so you want to have a C-section so she can hurry up and give that bed up so that you could give it to somebody else, because all you care about is how much money you can make in that hospital. And getting her out to get the next person in is what's most important. And that is insane. Yeah, hospital court is literally like so inhumane. I find it something that can only happen in a barbaric country. That's barbaric. To force somebody into legal proceedings when they're fucking crowning or some shit, like going through contractions and in pain and just want to be left alone to breathe, but you're pressuring them while they're going through fucking childbirth, body splitting in two, and you want to put them on video cam so you can force them to have a procedure that could kill them that they don't want? It's barbaric. It's barbaric. Yeah, they make the most money off of C-sections. Natural birth, it doesn't make them any money. That's another thing. That was one of the reasons why, when I was considering it, I would have wanted a at-home birth, or I would have wanted to go to like a birthing center and had like a doula and all of that. Like, I wanted people to be there to fight for me who knew, better holistic ways of having babies, as to not let them fucking people bully me in my moment of vulnerability, because that's what they do to women when they have babies. The whole thing is barbaric the way it's set up. But anyway, we can talk about that at another time. But I was definitely, paying attention to the way Andy was asking questions, because Andy wanted y'all to know whose side he's on. Because as we said, a line has been drawn in the sand and you need to pick a fucking side. And Andy picked his side in this episode. I don't know if y'all realized it. Asking about DEI. And they get to explain to everybody about how the Pell Grants that we used to be able to get, now it's harder to get. So you mean to tell me you wouldn't have wanted Dr. Simone to get her degree just because her parents don't make enough money at their jobs in order to pay for $400,000 worth of medical school? You wouldn't have wanted to have a very good doctor out there just because her fucking parents couldn't afford the exorbitant amount of money it costs to go to university here in this country? That was something that they got rid of with DEI, right? All of those things that help Black people who specifically were forced into service industry jobs for generations and kept from acquiring wealth, which is why they needed the help in the first fucking place. Ooh, don't make my pressure go up with people in DEI because they so dumb, Lord. They so dumb. They just say things and they just so dumb. It's like, why you got to be so dumb? That's not how they... oh my God, that's not why they do that. That's not why they do that, y'all. They do it because they won't include you if you don't make it a law. If you don't give them money to not be racist, they will be racist. And even when you give them money, they still try to be as racist as they possibly can before losing money. Why is this so hard for everybody to understand in this generation, like this time? In this time, I have never seen people be so fucking dumb about DEI initiatives in my life. It doesn't matter how many times you say it out loud. That's not what DEI means. It does not mean giving handouts to people because they're Black. It means not giving handouts to people because they're white. Honey, the way they will take something and flip it and adulterate it to turn it into something evil is insane. It is insane. Oh my God, why did God send me here? Oh my God, this is so terrible. Anyway, I'm sorry. Now the nurses are no longer medical professionals because that makes sense. Yeah, that's another thing that Trump's administration did. So now when women want to become nurses, it's harder for them to get the scholarships and the money that they can get because it's been declassified. Your nurses no longer are classified as medical professionals. Yeah, right. Everybody should have a choice in voting for a horrible dictator that makes life terrible for everybody and we lose all our rights and can never vote again. You're right. You have a right to do that. Bitch, no, you don't. Not without us shunning your ass. Not without us cursing your fucking ass out. Not with no motherfucking consequences, you don't. You can do it. And we can be like, fuck you. We absolutely can. Absolutely. Without a doubt. Your family, your cousins, your friends, your coworkers, all y'all. Yes, absolutely. Right now, I don't care. I don't care what you're talking about. Be on the right side or be on the wrong side. Those are your only two choices. Ain't no really in between in situations like this. Because the old niggas that got away after the Holocaust still came to our country and did fucked up shit. We have to remember, write names down, commit it to memory. Remember these people. They will fuck up again. Remember these people. They are not to be trusted. They also talked about how HIV levels amongst Black women are higher, spiking. Jackie says it's been high in Atlanta. That's why she advocates for PrEP. And Contessa says, yes, I'm always saying, if you're not in a committed relationship, you need to be on PrEP. Contessa, unwrap your fucking mind. It's hurting you as a doctor. It doesn't matter if they're in a committed relationship, Contessa. because the black women that catch HIV and AIDS are normally not out here fucking everybody, and that's how they got it. They're normally laying up with one man, and that man is fucking everybody. So telling people that if they're not in committed relationships, they don't need to be on PrEP is kind of odd to me. Like as a doctor, right? Is it just me? In Atlanta, you think people can believe that they're just in committed relationships and they should just trust that? I'm just saying, if you know your nigga, then you know your nigga. Cause some people know that they nigga ain't out here like that. And they nigga really ain't out here like that. Some niggas gotta go to work. Some niggas is tired. You know what I'm saying? Some niggas don't want to fuck with multiple bitches. That ain't all of the niggas. But the way in which most women was catching it was from their partners, not because they were hoes. And so when you say if you're not in a committed relationship, it's almost as if you think that women are catching HIV and AIDS because they're just out here being a big old hoe, or they're having a lot of sex with a bunch of people or something, instead of women who are in committed relationships and their husbands is cheating on them or their boyfriends is cheating on them with any and everybody, not wearing any protection, being under the misconception that having sex with men, if you put a condom on, that means you're gay. So, I'm not going to put a condom on. Or my favorite, the one that Ray J said to Princess that one time, strippers and prostitutes don't count as cheating. Yeah. Or you could be like Neo and have like a whole bunch of unprotected sex with sex workers. And I'm not saying that you can't like trust sex workers. I'm not saying that, because 9 times out of 10, they on top of their shit. But also, if they let Neo bust their club up, no, I don't think you can trust them. I don't think they being safe, nah, because they let him do it. So yeah, no, I don't trust that. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Because I was like, what do you mean if you're not in a committed relationship? Does she not know how the women are catching this? Anyway, the men join the stage. Andy points out that Steve has his chest out and he's wearing a lot of ice. So basically, when we were all saying that Steve gives attractive, like he's attractive to a gay man. Neo is gay coded. He is. He so is. Andy pointing out that Steve has his chesticles out. It's not being gay that's icky. It's Neo that's icky. The ick is for the Neo, not for the gay. Okay? But no, that one picture of him with the lip gloss and the pursed lips with the hat. Y'all remember that one? Yeah, absolutely. Child, he could have been a lesbian, all we knew. From that picture. Okay, child, he could have been a strong-faced lesbian for all we knew. Child, I remember when he did that picture. Yeah, he had his cleavage out. And I felt like when the way Andy responded, kind of like, okay, so everybody gonna act like we was lying. But Andy saw it. And when I was talking to Chris was like, he not my type. I'm like, yeah, you're like a young, not feminine, but you're not like a tough, you're not like mask. I don't think you're performing like masculinity, especially, not Scotty. So I'm like, no, y'all are more so along the lines of matching Steve on some level. So no, y'all are not gonna be into him. Old butch queens are gonna like Steve, and white men. White men and old butch queens would like Steve because he has a nice body. And he's light skinned. So yeah, amongst some like old butch queens and some white men, yeah. That's why Andy was like, oh, Steve, you have your chest out. You're wearing a lot of ice over there. And Steve, of course, Like Steve wants to be attractive no matter what. So Steve's like, yeah, Andy, and then realized he was smiling a little bit too hard and had to calm down because he heard what Toya said. Okay, he heard what the people said. Chris and Naughty by Nature don't see him as attractive. Scotty by Nature, I think it did. Like, what about Naughty by Nature? Steve is not attractive to me. Yeah, because he has this Tyler Perry face. I know. But what did Andy look like he wasn't attracted? Oh, okay then. Like, don't act like y'all, everybody ain't gotta be attractive to the person in order for them to be attractive. Like, there are subset groups of gay men. Y'all don't all like the same niggas, do y'all? I didn't think so. Not even gonna wait for y'all to answer me. I know y'all don't all like the same nigga. The way that nigga was pursing his lips, I like that nigga like light-skinned Tyler Perry. And anyway, Andy asked Eugene about whatever drama happened. Oh, Curtis and Eugene. I said Curtis and it put courtesy, girl. Anyway, Andy asked about what happened backstage, and Eugene says that they had a discussion. He says that Toya has been asked about Lapgate, and backstage, Toya is telling Jackie that she did not say that multiple women, we already talked about that. Basically, that it was her fault because you said that it didn't happen and it did. And then Curtis says that Eugene doesn't take accountability when it comes to his wife, and that's the problem he has with him. Curtis says that Eugene is lying and he's done. Eugene says, okay, we can be done. We can be done. I was just kind of like, I don't know why y'all letting Curtis skate on this, but he's not right in this situation. Like, why? What is Eugene supposed to? I say Eugene should be more upset at you than he should be at his wife. Boy, fuck you. You and Eugene, Curtis was cut off when he was saying this, but Curtis was basically saying that we as men, we're supposed to care about each other's feelings over our wives. That is that's exactly what they want. They want Eugene to care more about their feelings than Eugene cares about his wife's feelings. And because Eugene is not stupid, he's not going to do that. But in this specific situation with Curtis, I don't know what the fuck you want him to be accountable for. You did it. What are you talking about? Eugene explains that in marriages, because they get on how him and Toya got into that fight at the house. And he says sometimes in marriages, you have arguments, right? You say things that you don't mean in, front of people and in front of the cameras. And we had people there that weren't really our friends. So people that would not hold space for us having an imperfect moment. But people that would exploit it, right? Be judgmental and then, use it to make a fucking storyline. Steve says that sounds like a narrative spin. And I'm like, Steve, nobody was fucking talking to you. First of all, this was not your turn to jump in. Steve says, well, y'all put the blame on Mimi, but now you're saying that you were having a married moment. They were having a married moment. Their argument was not about Mimi. She clicked out on Mimi. Then why did you kick us out? Because y'all was talking shit like Toya said backstage. Like, what's wrong with I was just like, I don't understand what's happening right now, because never was it implied that the reason why Eugene and Toya got into a fight was because of Mimi. Nobody ever said that. They were already fighting. They responded in a way that pissed Toya off, and she cursed them out and kicked them out of her house, which I probably would have done too. Don't get involved in my shit. And if you can't just go move yourself away or just look away or act like you ain't hear shit, like, bitch, don't do that. Like, don't get involved in shit like that. I just don't like that, because people do that. When you're a woman and you're having, like, I told y'all, I don't think I said nothing, but like I had to check I be having to check people every now and again, because like me and Lyric will be joking sometimes, like just going back and forth how we do. And here come my mama, and I'm like, hold up. No. Stay in your place. Don't do that. And I feel that way, and not to sound, like an abusive nigga or anything, but when you the one that take care of somebody, you really don't want to hear nobody trying to check you behind the person that you love and take care of. Like, especially in marriages. Like, because y'all do that shit with men because y'all want to protect men. Because anytime a woman is talking to a man with any type of bass in her fucking voice, y'all get all uncomfortable and start squirming in y'all fucking seats and got to put your cape on and come saving a grown ass man from a woman that he gets on top of. I be telling people all the time, we are not one of those couples. I do not get on the phone. I don't talk to nobody about what the fuck going on in my marriage until after it's been handled and over and we didn't learn from it. Ain't your motherfucking business what's going on. I don't get on the phone and talk to nobody every time I get an argument with my nigga. So guess what? When me and him doing whatever we doing and we might be at a family function or something like that and we bantering or going back and forth doing whatever the fuck we doing, everybody need to mind their business. We got us. Because it makes me feel like they feel like he can't say something to me. He can say whatever he want to say. The man bigger, taller, stronger, all of that shit. That may not be Eugene and Toya's situation. But I recognize that is what is happening in this situation to some extent, and people are not acknowledging that. They're not acknowledging that it's not that Toya is saying the worst shit you could say to your husband, but it's really that she's saying anything at all back to him in front of everybody that is really the problem. That's how it's coming across to me. And so when Toya was, going back and forth, they're having their moment, and here comes Steve in the corner watching, being weird. Mimi, lean into your femininity, Toya. Bitch, I don't need you to tell me what to do with my motherfucking husband. I'm sorry, y'all. I would have probably said, get the fuck, girl, please. Like a nigga underwear I wash? You talking to me? Yeah. So I'm sorry. I understand everybody's uncomfortable. It was a cringy moment. Got it. Toya's a bitch. Toya's an asshole. Got it. But all that other shit, y'all can go ahead with all of that. Okay? Because nobody said anything about it being Mimi's fault. But Mimi got cursed out because who the fuck told you to tell me to she was like, how else am I supposed to get him? That wasn't a real question, bitch. That was rhetorical. You couldn't hear the rhetoricalness from the tone. It's over now. Talking about lean into your femininity. No, I'm not going to stop being angry at the drop of a hat because I'm angry now. I'm not going to stop being angry at the drop of a hat and turn on sexy. Because that's manipulative and weird, bitch. It's manipulative and weird to go from being angry to trying to suck dick to get a nigga to do something for you. That's weird. No, I'm not doing that for a nigga who I help take care of. No. If I'm washing clothes and cooking food and making sure you have a comfortable life, I'm not doing. No, I'm not. The fuck? I'm not kissing ass and sucking dick. That's too much. You got to pick one or the other. Like I'm like, I was just like, why y'all acting like y'all didn't say nothing at all? Mimi talking about, I didn't say anything. Yes, you did. And you keep acting like you didn't say it with the tone that you said it with, but you did. And Heavenly is always saying some little slick shit. She been on Toya neck about not, acting like an abuse victim with Eugene, like she do with Damon. The fuck? But Steve says y'all put the blame on Mimi, but now you're saying you had a married moment. Eugene says that she called out a bunch of ladies. Like it wasn't in it, because it wasn't just Mimi. She also cursed Heavenly out. Steve says, I haven't heard you take accountability for that. Where's the apology? Nigga, I'm not apologizing to you for getting into an argument with my wife in front of y'all and y'all saying some shit and her cursing y'all ass out. I'm not apologizing to y'all for that shit. Because I feel like when Eugene wanted to say, if I'll apologize for anything, I'll apologize. Before he could even get it out, Steve is running it, because this is not about Eugene actually apologizing and y'all like actually coming to agreement. This is about you getting your peach. That's what this is about. He wanted a stethoscope. Okay? Eugene talking about, where's the apology? Where's the apology? Eugene says there is no apology. Eugene says, I saw the judgment in Mimi's face and Heavenly. Steve then calls him Eugene Bush. Later on, he said, well, I guess I'm Mr. Bush. In all honesty, I have more of an appreciation and respect for Eugene than I do for anybody else that was sitting on that stage. I'm sorry. I don't really give a fuck. I think it takes a certain type of man to recognize that somebody is trying to punk him because they bigger and taller, and not allow for them to punk him, but also not to fall into what you trying to make happen here. Like, you want me to pop off with you, and I'm not acting outside of myself for you, Steve. Cecil says, come on, man. Because at this point, I think Cecil is like, okay, I have to say something. And you needed to, Cecil. You needed to. And I hate it because Eugene shows up as the voice of reason for everybody. Eugene will show up in the men group and everywhere else being very much fair and the voice of reason when people get into it. But when everybody decided to dog pile on him, y'all niggas acting real quiet and laughing at corny jokes and shit. And that's because y'all want to punish him for not putting y'all ahead of his wife. And that's weird. So that's cool. If putting my wife before you niggas means that y'all put Steve before me, that's cool. That's where we at with it. That's where we at with it. It's a job. Even though Eugene, I'm not, I know it ain't, it ain't men's business to get in, but y'all with y'all relationship with Kirk and all of that, y'all could have kept that. Y'all could have kept that. Anyway, Eugene points out how they've never been this rude to each other, meaning in all of the years that they've been doing this show together, before Steve got here, niggas was not talking to each other like this. Toya says, y'all were talking shit. And Mimi says, no, we were not. Mimi, yes, you were. I wish Mimi would stop lying about the energy she had towards Toya and Eugene when they got into that argument. Like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, girl, give me a fucking break. Curtis says, where did it start? It started at your house, no matter if he's been here 2 years or 12 years. Okay, Curtis, we got it. There's a respect that goes between men. And that was the moment. Curtis said that up out of his mouth. There's a respect that goes between men. Meaning you are supposed to be on our side over your wife if we make enough of a stink about it. You're supposed to choose us, which is insane. You should always choose the woman that's going to be at your bedside when you dying. You should always choose that person. Remember that. Eugene says, Curtis don't like my wife. You have an issue with my wife. I get it. Eugene says he understands why he has an issue with his wife. Curtis says, I have an issue with the truth. Eugene says, yes, you do have an issue with the truth because you haven't been fully, truthful today. And so they, I guess they gonna move on from it. Why didn't Damon tell Heavenly about Damon Jr.'s arrest? He tells us not to assume anything about him from what we see on TV, and we can be sure that he did the best he could to handle that situation. That does not answer the question. That was a deflection, and it was also you trying to tell us what the fuck to do, which you cannot do. You can't control us, Damon. You're on a reality show, and y'all are very secretive, and y'all have a lot of built up tension, both of y'all, and y'all are very, very seemingly too volatile people. You act like somebody that top is about to pop, and Heavenly is going off and saying any old thing about her mouth whenever, the mood strikes her. So at the end of the day, I just kind of feel like, Damon, miss me with the bullshit, bruh. Like, it's bullshit to me. Be fucking for real. Damon is like weaponizing his emotions in this situation, and usually that happens in relationships when the woman acts like Heavenly. A man will be the enabler, and he will also weaponize his emotions in such a way, like, right? Because he's a man. If he's emotional, everybody better shut the fuck up and listen. Damon says that this is the most difficult thing that he's ever had to deal with. I believe you. He doesn't know what it is. They don't know what it is. I don't know why they're talking about it like that, as if their son has some fucking disease that they can't figure out what the cause of the disease is or some shit like that. They talking like they don't know what's wrong with him. And I feel like, is it really that difficult to figure out what's wrong with your son? I don't know. That's annoying to me. that they, you know, I get you want to protect him, but there is a level of don't act like you don't know what the fuck wrong. Like he don't answer no questions. Nigga ask you how he doing. You know, you just made a plea to your son. Talked about how you read the books. I'm not a psychiatrist. I read the books and I didn't know what was going on. And I wasn't prepared for that. Yeah, a lot of the times y'all are not prepared for y'all children to have real fucking emotions if y'all think they're supposed to be keeping everything together for somewhat of an image. And that's what I feel like goes on in y'all household. Keep everything together for an image. Certain kids are going to crack under that. They just are. He says, I'm here for him every day. And when he decides to come home, he's there. And I believe that. I believe that they both really love their kids, but I also believe that old school ways of parenting are a lot of the times harmful and y'all refuse to acknowledge it and you wonder why your kids are angry and going no contact with you. Like, I know we don't know the ins and outs, but essentially, yeah, your son is doing what a lot of people are doing to the parents that don't know how to actually be honest about anything. Child, they leaving you the fuck alone. They not talking to you. They not dealing with you. They're going no contact. So Damon agrees that personal issues get weaponized amongst the women, and he doesn't appreciate the women saying things about him and accusing him of things. And he needs to understand that Heavenly says whatever she wants to say about Contessa's husband said that. Like, listen, Damon, at the end of the day, your wife said whatever the fuck she want to say about everybody. Damon says that she says things, but I haven't done it. And I feel like y'all let him get away with that. But when it comes to Eugene, y'all don't seem to have that same energy. Maybe Eugene should have like, you know, a moment where he threatens to like, you know, lose his mind on everybody instead of being the person that's in control. Because usually the person that y'all listen to the most is the person that acts like they're going to bust their top at any moment. Like the person you have to walk on eggshells around. That's the person that y'all listen to and y'all show respect and reverence to. The person that is most in control of themselves, the person that is handling their own emotions the best, that's the person that y'all are going to make the scapegoat. And I think that's what y'all did to Eugene. Because if him and Damon are doing the same thing, why are y'all giving Damon the respect that y'all aren't giving to Eugene? And if y'all say it's because, you know, Heavenly doesn't disrespect him, then that means that her performing her slavehood to him, her performing being a 1950s housewife is the only reason why y'all think that she respects him. Even though she says some shit when the ladies are drunk and playing around that if somebody wanted to weaponize against her, they could, but nobody does. Nobody weaponized you talking about dreaming about knowing other men biblically. We just took it as a joke and let it go. Even though you be up there all the time singing that man's praises and talking about how fucking perfect he is. And I can't help but to think that you either passive aggressively poking at him because y'all have had an argument and he wants to pretend like he's perfect. So you get up here on stage and tell us that my man is perfect. Low key to troll us, but also to troll him at the same time. I've always thought she does that. But I also feel like it's a way to, if I just keep the lie going, they can't really hold me accountable if I just keep the lie going. If I just refuse to not defer from the lie that he's perfect, even when all of this evidence that the nigga ain't perfect. He's perfect, it's perfect. It doesn't matter what the fuck y'all say. He's perfect. It's like, okay, girl, keep the lie alive. Keep the lie alive. Okay? Nobody seems to understand that they're trying to make Eugene accountable for the shit Toya says, but Damon can't be held accountable for the shit that Heavenly says. There's a double standard there. They think it's the other way. They think that Eugene is begging for Damon to be accountable. And I'm like, just because he was trying to level with Damon doesn't mean he was actually trying to hold Damon solely responsible. I feel like things have happened so often between Heavenly and Toya. This is not the first time that Eugene and Damon have had to talk to each other because of the shit that be going on with their wives. They've had to do this more than once because their wives are always getting into it and they get dragged into it. But I feel like I heard Elaine talk about Eugene before I heard anybody talking about Damon. And I just kind of feel like, why is it that Elaine could be sitting up there talking about a nigga dick and that's cool, right? all because y'all think Toya doesn't respect him. So you could feel like Toya doesn't respect him because they argue, and that means you can disrespect him, right? That makes sense. But when it comes to Damon and Elaine can disrespect everybody as long as she acts like a servant to Damon. Then that makes it fine, right? That's ass backwards. That's some ass backwards thinking, but I'm gonna let y'all have that because I don't feel like arguing with nobody that thinks like that because that's kind of like crazy to me. I feel like you're just looking for a reason to disrespect people. If Eugene hasn't disrespected Heavenly, I don't think there's any reason for her to bring him up in an argument about a fucking purse. I just don't. And I think that's one of the reasons why Eugene went to Damon, because the rule is you can't go to the women. So Eugene can't go and level with Elaine about her talking about his dick. And I know the argument is, oh, well, she's not saying it to him. She's saying it to Toya. And Toya is the one that's telling him. It's on TV. It's on TV. It's not like it's about to stay private either way. Like, the way Heavenly disrespects Eugene and there's not really any culpability in it, it's actually really annoying to me. I mean, like, there's no accountability in it. Like, she's never held, like, accountable for the way she will talk to a man, but then the men can't talk to her. Or how she'll talk about a man, but he has to act like that's not happening because it hasn't been said to him. It's weird. It's weird and it's dumb. And if you don't want Eugene to say anything about your wife, then your wife shouldn't be saying anything about Eugene, but she can't seem to help herself, which is then when the shit, if he was to be disrespectful, y'all would be mad. And I hate that. I really get annoyed with that because it's basically like, Heavenly gets to be a bully because she got Damon there to threaten people with physical violence if they don't allow her to bully them. That's basically what it feels like. And that's not Eugene's energy at all. So I don't know why people acting like Eugene trying to hold Damon accountable with the same type of energy that Damon has when ain't nobody even said shit about his son, but that's the way he came at Eugene. Like, I didn't say anything about your fucking son. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, Heavenly goes low on all of the husbands. When Simone was backstage screaming about how if you don't want anybody to say anything about you, tell your fucking wife stop saying stuff about us, because see, that's the thing. Y'all think you can just say anything about people and your family should be protected, but that's not how that work. When you go talk shit about somebody else's family, you open the door up for them to talk about yours if and when the opportunity strikes. So all of this reverence that people feel like we supposed to have for Heavenly and her fucking son, man, fuck all that. Niggas do drugs every day, B. Niggas have nervous breakdowns every day, B. Niggas go no contact with they fuck ass parents every day, B. I'm sorry, but like, nah, like, I'm sorry. I'm not really sentimental about it in the same way, because Heavenly go to hell on people. And it's just like, she's allowed to, because the rule is that she can say shit about the men, but the men can't say nothing to her. And the men can't say nothing about her. That seems really unfair to me. I'm sorry, y'all. And so if Toya wants to keep going at Heavenly's neck, I'm going to be honest. Have at it. Have at it. Because the fuck? Be bullying people just because your husband got a thick neck, we supposed to be scared. The fuck out of here. Cecil says the men didn't used to do this. Damon says y'all are under the illusion that I don't say something to Heavenly, but I do. And then he said we talk about everything. Yeah, everything but your fucking son. The fuck? Like, the jokes write themselves, my nigga. You said that shit about your mouth. Steve says, yeah, real men stand up and take accountability. Even if you're not wrong, don't deflect. And Eugene says, I'm not deflecting. And Steve says, a hit dog will holler. How is that not an extremely gaslighty ass moment? Who the fuck else were you talking? Andy was like, well, who are you talking about? Oh, I was talking about, and Eugene was like, Mr. Bush, I suppose. I was like, I like Eugene, man. I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about. A nigga that you can't really, like, to me, I recognize the you can't shame me in Eugene, because I have the same thing. You can't shame me neither, bitch. The fuck? That's the only way to live your life free, is not to let people shame you about shit. And if you feel like you could disrespect me because I'm not about to disrespect my wife for your benefit, Eugene not gonna say it, but I'd tell you to suck my dick. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Because we could all be disrespectful to each other. And I wouldn't even want him to be that way. I wouldn't even want him to be that way. That's why I told you got to curse everybody out on his behalf. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't even want your husband to go there. I got it. Don't worry about it. Hold my purse. Fuck. Okay? Steve and Mimi are on top of their relationship. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. The couples come out. Curtis needs more sex. Everybody try to act like Jackie actually wants to fuck Curtis. The way Curtis was circling over Quad's head when he was talking about the type of sex he wanted to have, I was very confused for a second, and I was like, Curtis, you could have just said, I just want to have sex just as much as Quad was having sex. Or you could have just said 15 times. You didn't even have to mention Quad. Because in all honesty, it made us feel like you were thinking about having sex with Quad and Jackie when you did that. That's what we were thinking in our heads at that moment. Curtis, you're not going to outlive the rumors that you're a creep. Creep, 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 creep. Simone, because they asked something. They asked Cecil, what's something about Simone that changed once y'all got married? And he says that when we were dating, she was more mild mannered, and she said I had to get the ring. Yeah, the hoes was performing for you niggas to get them rings, but y'all were performing too, to some extent. Okay. Simone says that she is not paying all of Cecil's bills. She wanted to correct us on that. She says he has 2 jobs. So just because he didn't have the last job don't mean he not making money. Then I'm like, why his money not going towards the sons so they're not always pulling from you so you can retire? Sounds like a lie. Because your complaints it's all coming from me. That's what it's giving. Anyway, Steve and Mimi, they're perfect. They're on top of their relationship. She always wants to know how she can serve him, and he always wants to breathe life into her. They feel like they fall short, so they need reminders from each other that they're still doing a good job. Like you guys are perfect. Everybody's jealous. They are. Andy said it was jarring to hear what Michael said about Simone being able to financially secure her sons in adulthood. But really, Andy was taken aback by that comment about white people taking care of their kids, because that's not necessarily true. There are a lot of white people that feel like, nah, nigga, you gonna work for it. I'm just saying. Andy was looking like, shit, I'm gonna send you to school, but I ain't about to just be paying for shit just cause. Like, Andy was giving shit. Not this single parent. I'm an executive producer, not this single parent. Okay. Simone says that she doesn't think Cecil understood how much it hurt her that he never had her back when she decided to say no about something with the boys. And I think it's because he's getting back at her. I've always said it, right? I think it's because he's getting back at her for making him not be friends with his BFF anymore. Men don't forget shit like that. Even if they acquiesce, they gonna always be mad at you for controlling them in that way, for dictating who they could be friends with. He may, because he loves you more, but it don't mean he not gonna be salty about it. And to me, I feel like the moments where he could be on your side, he like, nah, I'm not gonna be on your side, bitch. I'm gonna stick it to you a little bit because I'm still mad that you won't let me be friends with my fucking friend. I do feel like that on some level, because there's no other reason for why that man would not be like on your side at this point. If not for nothing, just to keep the arguments down. Why not? They grown as fuck, nigga. The only reason you would be doing that shit is because you secretly want to get under her skin. That's for one. Cecil is drunk and doesn't care. He care. That's why he's so drunk. But I really do feel like him not having that lady as his friend on some level, that shit really bothering him. Yeah, the drinking was really on display this season. Look, I get it. I'm from New Orleans. We drinking is normal for us. So y'all would be looking at all of us like we was alcoholics. But I do think that when people drink a lot like that, it is because they got shit they don't really want to deal with. Cecil will punish her for the rest of her days. He resents Simone. I think so too. I think so too. It's not too late, child. They could still divorce. Curtis comments to Kirk and Quad. He didn't understand what they were going through. He apologized as if he offended. He apologized if he offended them in any way wholeheartedly. Everybody proceeds to pat him on the back for his ability to take accountability because apparently no one can do that. So you can get a gold sticker from everybody if you do take accountability for being obviously fucking wrong. That's my note. Also, I want to say, Curtis wasn't confused. Curtis is an asshole. I'm going to keep explaining to y'all that the most judgmental people are usually the ones that carry the most shame and guilt. So if they're extremely judgmental to other people, they've probably done some terrible shit in their life. I'm just saying, like, judgmental people always are carrying shame about something because it's a projection. And so Curtis carrying all of this shame behind being down to that fucking airport with that thick bitch means that now he's seated at the right hand of the Father. And he's, there to judge the living and the dead, and his kingdom will have no end. Yeah, that nigga was judging everybody all over the place, and I was just like, yeah, you feeling guilty. You still feeling guilty. You still feeling shame. And you know why? Because he was gone for the first half of the fucking season, and he was gone a lot going to the Dominican Republic last season, and everybody was talking about that nigga still cheating. And so now he come back trying to prove something to everybody, but he also still feels shame and guilt because he know everybody think he was cheating still. So yeah, that's all he was doing is projecting. He wasn't confused. He's an asshole. Because to me, I feel like, can y'all keep y'all shame and y'all guilt to yourselves or deal with it? Y'all work on my nerves. Steve says that they targeted him and Mimi, because we're talking about this again. He didn't have anything to do with the he didn't have anything to do with the ticket. Toya says you pay to get into any event. That's another thing I don't understand why anybody doesn't understand that everybody paid money to get into the event. If you didn't put money in order to get, in order to make the event happen, the $2,500, then you had to buy a ticket. I don't understand why that's confusing. I don't understand why everybody keeps talking about buying a table, because that was not the conversation for real. That was what Steve said in order for that lady to let him inside without him having to pay. And the reason why I feel like he's entitled is because he thought him and his wife were just going to walk in there, not paying for anything, not giving any money to the event. And then if they wanted to lackadaisically buy something, they would. But him being a celebrity, or not even a celebrity, him being a football player, I think, and because he gave that $5,000 last year, I think he felt that means I can just walk in here without paying anything. Even though I said I wasn't going to contribute and I wasn't going to be giving any money this year, I still feel like as a cast member, I can just drop into this event without paying for anything. And what you found out was you could not. And even if you felt played, pay the money. And you asked Eugene about it, that you pulled him to the side. He apologized in the moment and said he's sorry if there was any, confusion about what was going on. But if you didn't give the $2,500, then yes, everybody has had to buy a ticket. Angel bought a ticket. Brandy bought a ticket. So if they didn't get $2,500, everybody else absolutely paid for a ticket. Why are you the only one having a conniption about it? Why didn't we discuss that? That Angel and Brandy also said that they paid for tickets. Why was Steve and Mimi the only ones felt like they were being ganged up on and ambushed and shit? Why wasn't Mimi more vocal about it? Mimi wasn't as vocal about this shit as Steve was, and it made me feel like it wasn't even that serious to Mimi. Yeah. I feel like she might have felt the way. She might have felt the way, but I don't think she was like as upset or like voicing as much as Steve was about this situation. It was actually like, why are you this mad? Okay. Then Steve, this is when Steve really annoyed me. Steve starts talking about shit that happened in seasons prior to him. You weren't here for that, so you're just going off what you saw on the show. They didn't give anything last year, and then they gave wine. Toya says, you don't know what you're talking about, Steve. The money was given to Jackie, and Jackie was shaking her head yes. And that made me think, so we think that Toya didn't give money in previous years, but that she actually did. But that they kind of let it, be out there that she didn't for the show. That's kind of what it seemed like in a moment. But this was another moment that I wish they had stopped and asked Jackie to elaborate on her agreeing. Because, I know it seemed as if, Toya just over talking him. But once you start bringing up shit that happened before you even got here, that's when I don't want to hear what you got to say either. Because I'm like, nigga, don't do that. That's lame as fuck. You wasn't here for none of that shit. And there's no reason why you should be using anything that happened on the show prior to you getting on the show in an argument against this woman. What are you talking about? Like, that was so fucking lame to me. It was definitely about the interview because it had just happened. Yeah, that nigga was mad. She said that he's attractive to gay men and then came there in a Liberace flamboyant Louis Vuitton white suit with his chesticles out. Aha. You proved us wrong, Steve. You proved us wrong, buddy. But Andy was happy to see your chesticles and all of your rhinestones on your suit. So I guess we both fucked up, me and Toya, because I said the same thing. I didn't realize it was going to be taken, because I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't put a negative connotation on to people, having dick and liking dick. Because I wouldn't even say that that's gay, because people don't be identifying as the shit and they still, like a little pickle tickle when he like, every now and again, a little pickle tickle. But no, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say I'm gay. A little pickle tickle every now and again never hurt anybody. White men say shit like that all the time. Yes. That's who the fuck y'all was so mad at E.J. Johnson, but that's who E.J. Johnson was mainly talking about. White men who have the money, power, and freedom to do whatever the fuck they want to do. And they just don't identify as gay. They fuck women and they might fuck men too, but they present straightness to everybody and still pull up on a nigga every now and again. A femboy, them niggas love going to Thailand on vacation so that they can get them a cute little femboy down to the Thailand. So I don't add negative connotation onto the shit. So it don't mean the same thing for me when I say it. It's actually funny to me. I just pointed out to point out the hypocrisy in everybody. Not because I actually think there's anything wrong with it. Just don't be out here acting like an asshole with everybody else when your coat showing, your slip showing, nigga. What? So Steve says we've given more in 1 year than y'all gave in 3, and that's a fact. You got us there, Steve. You got the money, baby. You spent $5,000 on an ugly ass bowl. You are absolutely right. And therein lies the main thing, to appear as if you have a lot of money. They were strategically targeted and Eugene deflected. Eugene says, you just buy a ticket. Which reminds me, everybody, one more time.
Are y'all gonna buy a ticket? Are y'all gonna buy a ticket? Are y'all gonna buy a ticket?
Yes, God. Get your tickets now. General admission still available. Ooh, ladies first. Live podcast show. The first one ever, bitch. May 2nd, Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, you gonna get a ticket? Okay, thank y'all for purchasing tickets. Thank y'all for selling out our VIP. Thank y'all. So Steve says, you want Damon to apologize for Heavenly, but you won't apologize for your wife. I think it's because Eugene doesn't think that she's wrong. And I've explained that already. I think if Eugene actually felt like Toya was wrong, he would have. And I think he already did. Like I said, at the event, he apologized for any confusion. But after that, what else do you want from him? I think he's dragging it so that he can have a moment. You're going to come back next season, Steve. Calm down. Simone says that she rolled up on everybody. It wasn't just y'all. She said, I paid $2,500 and bought 10 tickets, and she still rolled up on me too. Mimi says our presence irritates any type of insecurities that they may have. It was like, Mimi, girl, you was a little tight when you said that, weren't you? Shit. Contessa says that it was the Eugene and Toya show. I'm like, Contessa, what the fuck are you talking about? Contessa has not voiced a real issue this entire season, and here she come out of nowhere, veins busting out her neck, smile strained on her face, talking about Eugene shouldn't have been involved in the Met Gala. And that if anything, he shouldn't have been helping at the door. He shouldn't have been doing this. The only people that should have been involved was us. And once again, we understand, Contessa, that you're not used to your husband stepping up and helping you do anything. So you don't know what it looks like when a husband actually is supportive to his wife. But I wish you would turn down your envy a little bit. I wish you would turn down your envy a little bit, because it comes out of nowhere. That's the only way we know that it's envy. Like, it has to be, because girl, to me it was the same. The way she just reacted during the reunion show about telling Eugene he shouldn't have been helping is the same thing as you saying that Brandy husband ain't do shit for her, putting together no little dinner. You're a hater. You're a hater and it shows. You're not a happy hoe. 'Cause happy hoes ain't hating, and hating hoes ain't happy. No. Toya says Jackie didn't share any of the specifics about the event. She said the first year, Jackie didn't share shit. She only asked for money. The second year, she barely shared details with everybody, and it was really just her quad, Simone and Heavenly that was doing most of the shit, right? And even then, you know, I really think it was really Jackie and Heavenly probably that was doing most of the work on the Met Gala the second year. And is this the third year that they've done it? And she said, I did the same thing that Jackie did. I just asked for the money, and I didn't give y'all no details. And Jackie did the same thing. And I feel like I believed Toya. When Toya said that, I believed her, because I think that's exactly what Jackie would do. Y'all would just trust Jackie with y'all money. Y'all don't trust Toya, and y'all don't like Toya. So y'all weren't going to treat Toya in the same way that y'all were going to treat Jackie, doing the exact same thing, which was not giving y'all much detail, but just asking y'all to give money and contribute. Quad just had to have a moment. We're all forgetting that this was about us as a group and not us individually. And then Jackie brings up the 501c3, and Toya was the one that brought that to the table, right? I do feel like Toya is an asshole. She was trying to keep the other women out. She wasn't trying to give a lot of information. I think she was being purposefully obtuse at times. But I also feel like Heavenly was also being like low-key sabotaging the event a little bit by the way she would respond when they were trying to talk about it. I almost felt like more would have gotten done if, instead of Dr. Mimi trying to get Toya away from the group, she would have got Heavenly away from the group when they were trying to talk about the Met Gala. Because in Jamaica, when they were trying to talk about it, Heavenly would not shut up. Heavenly would not shut up. And so the conversation didn't happen. Now, the reason why I say it's not that difficult is because Toya could have just sent one clear text message about everything that was going on. Like, listen, I'm going to keep y'all abreast of what's going on. Give me the money. These are, you know what I'm saying? Like, she could have just been texting people. Okay, I'm I need to get a new venue. Like, she could have been clocking it like motherfucking Twitter. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing this. I'm about to do that. Does anybody know how to handle this? 24 hours to respond. Nope. Okay, well, I handled that. Like, she could have been way better at the way she approached it. But I felt like once she found out that they was trying to sabotage her, I think it was like, I don't give a fuck about working with y'all. I want to make this happen without y'all because I want to prove to y'all that I can make it happen without you since you wanted to sabotage me. I think there was some level of I'm gonna show you how to do this shit. Since you wanna sabotage me, I'll show you how to do this shit then. I do think that was her attitude, which is why she didn't want to let them help once she found out. And listen, I'm not mad at them for not trusting her. I'm not mad at them for not trusting her, y'all. Toya did not handle this situation properly. But I also feel like Jackie didn't either. But because Jackie is a different type of person, y'all, will trust her more. But I think it's kind of like when Toya brought that up and was like, listen, at the end of the day, I did the same thing Jackie did. Because I felt like Jackie was kind of low-key instigating it myself when they first were talking about the shit. And Jackie is talking as if she doesn't have any power in the situation, right? So when Toya initially, is talking about putting just her and Jackie's name on the 501c3, and Jackie is like, I don't think the ladies would like that. Girl, no, just say no. Don't do that. You need to add everybody. Add everybody. Do you need me to do it? To make sure you add everybody? Okay, well, as long as you add everybody. Like, to me, the way Jackie acts like the matriarch of this situation, if she would have been more involved, but you wanted to sabotage Toya. And I think a part of sabotaging Toya was confusion amongst the ladies and everybody being mad at Toya while she was trying to plan this. And I do think that Jackie fan flames and everybody's not really paying attention to that. Andy says that let him know next year so he can donate, especially since they're going to turn it into an actual foundation. When they got backstage, Steve is trying to make it seem as if Eugene is making it personal. Talk about it's not personal. Like, nigga, it is absolutely personal at this point. It could have not been personal a long time ago. But after all the shit you said about your mouth, don't you come to me talking about it's not personal. Boy, fuck you. He's still trying to force a conversation with Eugene. And he starts saying that Toya mentioned him. You're just mad because your wife said that I was good looking and she was talking about how she's attracted to me and me taking my shirt off. And y'all, that lady said that him and Kirk were the only ones that should be taking their shirt off at the beach because they were the only ones in shape. That does not mean that lady want to fuck you just because she acknowledged that you have muscles. But outside of that, I think you also gassed that comment in order to make it seem like that lady really, like, all of that shit. Like, did y'all really feel like he needed to say all of that to Eugene about how, you just mad because your old lady want to fuck me and I'm tall and I'm a football player and I'm in shape and I know you feel less than? Yeah. Y'all don't think that, like, that's a red flag for a nigga to go off on somebody like that and just start saying the lowest shit you could think of to say to a person over something that's not even that deep? Anyway, Steve, hold on, what happened? Eugene sarcastically says, if you need to hear an apology, Steve, sorry, if that's what you need. Steve is saying, oh, here comes that passive aggressive stuff. Honestly, I wouldn't even said that to you. And he said, I'm really trying to keep it 100 with you. Then he said he has little man complex. And Eugene was just like, I'm not talking to this nigga no more. And he got up and walked away. And then Scott was like, here, nigga, take a plate of food or something. You hangry. And then he laughs about it. And you could tell he couldn't wait to laugh with them men so that they can create the energy that they're laughing as Eugene is walking out of the room. I knew exactly why that goofy nigga laugh so hard about that shit. Him and Curtis, you big goofy ass, tall ass, lanky, knee having ass, Tyler Perry mouth having ass niggas. Toya must have really hit a button with that you being attracted to gay men shit. Because if that's what all of it, that's the only thing I could think of that all of this is about. Because, and honestly, I don't even feel like that because I feel like you gassed it when the shit happened. Like when the Met Gala happened, you was gassing it. But all of this extra stuff, I felt like this shit was like, really? All of this? What did Eugene say like this for y'all to feel like this was an adequate response? Contessa tries to rap Heavenly off stage talking about, well, I guess this is the end, huh? And that's another thing. Contessa was sitting up there acting like she was cool the whole time and she can't wait for this lady to get off the show. Contessa is creepy. Talking about, it's because she's going to win. It's because she's going to win. Yeah, no, we don't believe you anymore, Contessa. We don't believe that you want her to win because you want her to win now. We believe you want her to win so she gets off the show. Simone tells Heavenly that nothing has been done to her that she has not done first. Heavenly seems to think that she's superior to Simone because her and Damon don't put their business out in the street. I don't know how you could possibly think that. I don't know how you could possibly think that, Elaine. To me, the only time you truly have an upper hand on other people is when you don't give a fuck about having an upper hand on other people because you're happy at your house in your life. So you don't need to project being like better than nobody. People might perceive the energy that way, but you don't never have to actually like vocalize no shit like that to nobody. Not for real. Especially not in a context like this when y'all both on the show, on the same fucking show, going through the same fucking thing with y'all kids. And you gonna like make that lady seem like she more fucked up than you when y'all was both crying about y'all sons not, you know, not being right or giving y'all a hard time. Y'all both in the same place as parents and you got the audacity to act like you're better than Simone. Honestly, it made me feel like she's probably envious of the fact that Simone's sons, while being on Front Street for being somewhat disrespectful, whatever is going on with her son, that's a worse situation than Michael and Miles being little, greedy little bitches. You know what I'm saying? Especially because, the son tries to at least clean it up and act like he love his mama, even though he's still a little asshole. He'll eventually, his frontal lobe will grow. And, maybe eventually he'll show up to be a much better man that he has shown up in these early stages. He's still very young. I'm willing to give, Michael and Miles like the little pass or whatever because they are still very young. Especially Michael. So, but whatever the fuck is going on with Elaine and Damon's son, that it's so serious, y'all don't know what the fuck it is. And it's so serious that y'all can't even talk about it. It's the fucking boogeyman and all of that shit. And he don't want to talk with y'all and he don't want to deal with y'all. But at the end of the day, Simone's sons is hugging her at the end of the season and telling her they sorry and they love her. Yeah, bitch, you mad. You jealous. You jealous of Simone because even if she did put her sons on Front Street, they still love her and they still coming to the house. They still answering phone calls. That's what she was really upset about, and that's why she said that shit to Simone the way she did. It was nasty, but it was coming from a place of envy, I think. I really do. Quai says that these women are her family and she has came up through the trenches and she thinks they argue and they have their moments, but they will always get past things. And to be honest, I hope so. But I also hope, Quai, that you're not holding on to an abusive friend group so that you can have family. Because I do feel like Quad has lost a lot when it comes to her family. Like, Quad still has a huge family. But there is a feeling of, like, not wanting to lose more people. I just saw Rennie Rucci say that shit in a preview on Love and Hip Hop, and it just made me so sad but so mad at her. Because she really does view that abusive relationship like something worth keeping because she just lost her mama, so she don't want to let that go because she would have to grieve that relationship. And I'm like, if you in pain in a relationship, you grieving anyway. I know it don't seem like it. It didn't seem like it. When it was happening to me, it didn't seem like it either. But when the relationship hurts, you're still grieving it because it's not what you want. It's not the way you want it to be. You're still grieving it. You're not getting around grieving it just because you're not letting it go. You're just prolonging the pain. And I feel like, I just hope that Quad isn't doing that with them. Because, when you look back at previous seasons, y'all, they have not always been the best to her. They really haven't. But anyway, everybody, I hope y'all enjoyed the live. Okay, thank y'all so much for showing up. I think that's all. I think that's all. I think there were some clips online. Let me see. I saved one clip before we go. On my TikTok. Because it's almost 11 o'clock. But I was like, I needed to get, because I have to go to the mall tomorrow. I have to go, I have other shit to do. So I needed to get more than one video done today, even though I started late.
Toya Bush Harris came on my podcast with Eugene, and she said that Eugene and Kirk are friends. They have a great friendship, and she said she has a great friendship with Kirk. She still follows him. She also enlisted Kirk and his car company to have her son for his 16th birthday party to, get one of the vehicles from Kirk. That's a lot of talk, baby. That's a lot of talk you're doing about certain things. And I did ask her, I said, oh, you still follow him because, they broke up. And she said, we're friends. How did you feel knowing that Toya is still keeping the friendship with Kirk? Because were you surprised that they even had a friendship?
This is what I'll say to that. I think Eugene and he may have a budding relationship, fresh, new possibility there, right? I don't know, maybe even after they see this, they'll probably go and hang out together, to try to cement it, but that's okay. In reference to Toya, I think that it is very difficult for Toya to 100% support me. It's very challenging for her to do that. And part of that is because I'm already that girl. You see what I'm saying? So if she supports me, then it's continuing to push me up a little bit higher. And that just can't be. She just can't give me that. So she may give me a little bit of something, but she'll never give it to me in its full glory.
I agree.
The good thing about it is that I don't need it.
Boom. Do you think you have the life that
And please understand, Toya absolutely envies Quad's freedom.
Toya wants?
I think people find happiness in their own lives,
What do you think, Heavenly?
I'm running for Congress District 13. Y'all do not want to know what I think, really. Y'all really don't, because I do have thoughts on it. Leave it alone, please.
I'm moving on that same episode, Toya.
And I will say, I think when we're talking about Toya, right? And you're talking a little bit about me and Tori in our relationship. We're not beefing at all, and we're actually really cool right now. But I think that at any chance Toya could take to think she's going to
let's
embarrass
do this,
me. Can
because
I finish?
No, you cannot. Listen, do you think that if Toya wanted to, do you think she's just such good friends with Kirk that she got to hang out with him and do his cars and all that?
No.
Why do you think she's doing that? I'm just asking. I just asked the questions. Why?
Well, that was me. I asked the same question too.
Do you think they just great friends that she got?
Toya?
No, I absolutely think that she's doing to stick it to Quad on some level. I'm not sure exactly why, besides being envious of her. But like I said, Toya is a bit of a pick-me when it comes to the way she responds, like being on a man's side and just being wayward in her thinking. So please don't misunderstand me, y'all. Like, I do see Toya for her works. I absolutely do. I I don't know why y'all are over there being friends with that man. Okay? That's really whack. Like, leave that nigga where he at. Ugh. You know what I'm saying? For what? For who? For why? Let me see. And then I'm about to get off of here. So I can go lay it down, let it go, fall in love. Put your hand on my shoulder, lay it down. Hey, I just met you just the other day. And everything was had it going my way. I don't want to change your mind. Yeah, and Simone be on this same type of time too, because Simone did this same shit with Sweet Tea and Quad. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck Quad has done to either one of these two bitches for the way they treat her. Because both of them is weird for this shit. Child, Toya got them gums that eventually she gonna smell like your grandma, like that powder that your grandma used to wear. Like, she look like, that's the gums that you and your grandma got dentures and she wear that powder. That's what she look like. Let's see. And this is the reason, like, nobody ever learns the lesson.
Advice would you give me so that my kids are not spoiled?
I would say we have one life to live. Spoil your babies.
Well, you're complaining that they're spoiled.
I would not say that, Andy.
You just are complaining that they're spoiled.
Yes. But here's the thing. I had a single mom.
Yes.
And she spoiled me. She spoiled my sister. I told my mother if children had to be as spoiled as my baby sister, I wouldn't have any.
But you're complaining about them being spoiled.
But that's
and then
what
you're
we
saying
do.
spoil your children.
That's what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hate when you logically explain why somebody is in pain or why they're having a tough time and you tell them, well, basically is your lack of discipline. Because that's what this is. It's a lack of discipline to stand on what you say and to set boundaries so that your sons are not always depending on you. And it's not about, oh, you only have one life to live. That's not what it's about. It's about making sure that they're self-sufficient by teaching them that they can't always depend on you. Because what happens in the mind when somebody thinks that there's always somebody to save them is that they kind of throw caution to the wind and live their lives in a reckless manner because they believe their parents will always catch them. And you are not going to always be here. That's the reason why you don't think like this, Simone.
That's
It
what
is
we do.
okay. Simone, just book
The social media response. But his friends, people who've known him for years, they reached out and that hurt him.
Were his friends on your side?
I don't know
Is that
because we
the
didn't
issue?
discuss. He's spoiled, and
You've established that.
Yes, he's spoiled, and he knows he's spoiled. But the way that all carried out.
Okay.
My baby.
You sound just like Jasmine talking about Cam. He's spoiled. He's spoiled rotten. He's spoiled rotten. But I love it.
Mommy, daddy, little. So we speak differently. I think that she has her opinion. I have mine. If my husband's okay with it, I think it's okay. I do think there's some areas of growth for me. There are. I'm a strong female. I'm from Detroit. It is what it is, and we could be a little abrasive. We're learning how to put sugar on.
I've been married almost 30 years, and everybody talks crazy when there are no cameras.
Okay.
Thank you, Mommy.
And
reaction to Heavenly making fun of the way that you speak to Eugene when she told Damon to wash his hands at the start of the finale.
I just think that there's a different type of woman. I'm a different type of woman. I wouldn't go around calling my husband daddy. I wouldn't call my children mommy, daddy, little. So we speak differently. I think that she has her opinion. I have mine. If my husband's okay with it, I think it's okay. I do think.
Yeah, it seems like Toya and Eugene have a less incestuous dynamic. Yeah. All right. I think that's all. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for y'all tonight. Thank y'all so much for coming through. I cannot wait to get into Real Housewives of Atlanta with you guys. Cause yeah, we will be talking about that on hopefully I can get that out to y'all before I leave on Monday. So yeah, I hope everybody has a really good night. I love you guys. And I hope you have a good day if you're seeing this tomorrow. So peace out, y'all.